The notification lit up my phone screen, just as I blew out the candles on my birthday cake, laughter filling the restaurant, my friends raising their glasses to toast another year of my life, but the moment his name appeared everything around me began to fade into the background. My name is Chrissy, and at 39 I received the most vicious message a partner could ever send. Hey Chrissy, I just wanted to be upfront with you. I found someone better. Someone younger, hotter, and honestly an upgrade. I transferred our money into my personal account. Felt fair since I was the one making most of it anyway. No hard feelings. Enjoy your birthday. My breath stilled in my chest, the words blazing on my screen like a neon sign spelling betrayal. I did not flinch, my hands steady, no gasp, no tear threatening to escape. The only visible change was the small shift in my expression, my smile sharpening instead of softening. Congrats, I typed, only one word, cold, calm, final, because Nathan, with his inflated ego and arrogance, had no idea that I had been observing every change, every lie, every disappearing act for months. He had always carried himself with smug confidence. At first it felt bold, magnetic, the smooth talk, the charm that made him seem like the hero in every situation, but slowly the shimmer cracked. Late nights at work that nothing could explain, his phone always flipped face down, his eyes rolling at any mention of us planning a future, as if I dared to dream too big. And the money, oh, that was the biggest shift of all. Venmo delays, sudden concern over bills, when he once insisted on paying without hesitation. Then the ultimate red flag last month, when he claimed our shared savings should be moved to an account under his name. It is easier, he said, brushing away my doubts with that careless wave. You know I am better with money, babe. I will take care of us. I smiled, nodded, played along, but that very afternoon I opened my own account at the bank. While he was blissfully confident in his schemes, I moved only my rightful portion, little by little, just enough that he never noticed, leaving the rest behind like bait in a trap. So on my birthday, as he celebrated his victory thinking he drained me of every resource, I held the real power. He believed he had won, but the game was already over, and he was the only one who did not know. An hour later, another buzz from a mutual friend. Chrissy, I hate to tell you this, but Nathan just posted his new girlfriend, with a caption saying the glow up is real, out with the old in with the new. I stared at my phone, and for the first time that night my smile turned genuine, because Nathan had no idea that he had just gifted me the perfect beginning to the best year of my life. I could practically feel the heat rising in my chest as I opened the link, my pulse steady, my expression calm. Sure enough, there he was in some flashy hotel suite, grinning like he had just won the lottery, arm wrapped around a girl who looked barely 22, long legs, flawless hair, the kind of beauty that made strangers stare. Melissa, the same Melissa he promised was just a friend, the same Melissa he claimed was childish and tiresome, yet now she clung to him like a trophy he believed he had earned. The comments below the photo were brutal, cheering for his betrayal, hyping up his ego, calling him a king, celebrating this so-called upgrade. You could almost hear the internet laughing at the idea that I would be heartbroken. RIP to the ex, she must be bawling her eyes out, they wrote. How wrong they were. I was not crying, I was calculating. Nathan always assumed he was the smartest person in every room. He assumed I would collapse into heartbreak and embarrassment, maybe even beg him for answers. But men like Nathan always make the same mistake. They underestimate the strength of the woman they tried to break. He forgot the apartment lease belonged to me. He forgot the credit card he used for 6 months belonged to me. He forgot that every dollar worth counting in our savings was placed there by me. While he chased ego boosts and cheap thrills, I built the life he enjoyed, and now I was going to take it back piece by piece. I studied his post, his arrogant smile, the comments, and instead of pain, I felt a slow electric fire of satisfaction. Nathan made the first move, but I would make the final one, and mine would echo. He thought he had taken the money, the power, the upper hand. But really he had just placed every domino exactly where I wanted. The fall was about to begin. 3, 2, 1. The moment I returned home, I called the landlord and changed the locks. Since Nathan never bothered to add his name to the lease, his laziness now became my freedom, my protection, my victory. You are the only legal tenant, Chrissy, the landlord said. You can change whatever you like. By midnight, Nathan no longer had a home to return to. At exactly 1 in the morning, the first sign that panic had entered his world arrived, my phone lighting up with a message. Hey, super weird, but my key is not working. Can you let me in? I let it stay on read, glowing unanswered. 15 minutes crawled by, then another message appeared, desperation slipping into his words. Chrissy, what is going on? I need to grab my stuff. I rested my head back against the couch, exhaling slowly, my smile sharp as steel. He was finally realizing what it felt like to lose, and I had only just begun. I still did not reply because everything Nathan once bragged about, his tailored suits, his designer watches, his precious sneaker collection items, he swore were investments, even though he treated them like toys, all of it was already packed into black trash bags outside the door waiting for him like discarded leftovers of a life he no longer had ownership of. When he arrived trying to step back into the comfort of the world he abandoned, he would find himself locked out staring at his belongings like a stranger on the curb, and that moment, that shock, would just be the spark of his downfall. Morning came bright and calm for me while storm clouds formed over Nathan. At 8 in the morning, I made my first call of the day. "Hello, I need to report fraudulent activity on my joint account." The representative sounded professional, prepared, and ready to help. "What kind of fraudulent activity, ma'am?" I inhaled a steady breath, feeling power flow through me. "Money was withdrawn without my consent, and I have clear proof in writing that my ex-partner took those funds with malicious intent." There was a pause, then a simple request: "Could you please forward those messages to our fraud department?" "Absolutely happy to." Screenshots sent within minutes, and by 9:30 that same morning Nathan's shiny personal account, the one he so proudly moved every cent into, was frozen pending active investigation. Right on cue, a new message from him appeared. "Chrissy, what did you do? My account is frozen. I cannot get any money." I enjoyed a slow sip of my coffee before responding with sweet innocence. "That is so weird. Maybe you should try calling your bank." And he did. Oh, how he did. I could picture it perfectly, the tightening in his jaw as the representative explained that his access was restricted, that the funds in question would not be going anywhere, that his perfect plan had just burst into flames, that the life he promised Melissa was already falling apart before it even began. Speaking of Melissa, Nathan had booked a rental convertible for their grand getaway because of course he chose flash over logic as always, and I knew every detail because that confirmation email once appeared on our shared tablet, and like a fool he used my credit card, even saved the card info there assuming I would stay oblivious. So at 10 in the morning I made my second call. "Hello, I need to report an unauthorized charge on my card," and by noon that convertible was no longer waiting for them, their glamorous escape collapsing with a single phone call. Then at exactly 12:17 my phone rang, his name flashing like a warning sign. I let it go to voicemail, the second ring, then a third, then a fourth, and by the fifth I finally answered, letting silence stretch before I spoke. His voice came through, frantic, cracked, desperate. "Chrissy, you have made your point, okay? My money is gone, my rental is cancelled, my things are in trash bags outside the apartment. Please stop, just fix this." I almost laughed because Nathan thought this was the point, he thought this was the end, he thought what I wanted was simply revenge. But what I wanted was closure on my terms, power back in my hands, freedom from his lies, and the satisfaction of watching him finally face consequences. This was not the end. This was only the turning of the page. I smiled, letting the spoon spin lazily between my fingers. "Oh Nathan, sweet clueless Nathan, I have not even begun." His voice cracking, his messages growing frantic, his life collapsing in real time, and still he thought this was the peak of his punishment. But revenge is not just about taking away what someone has, it is about making sure they finally see the truth about who they really are and what they really lost. Nathan had no idea how deep the trap was set, and every step he took dragged him further into his own destruction. His next genius plan had been booking a luxury hotel with 5-star everything, ocean view, private balcony, a glossy postcard version of the future he thought he deserved, with Melissa on his arm, because what better way to celebrate betrayal than with room service and a pretentious rooftop pool? But Nathan forgot one important detail: when he stole the money and shoved it into his personal account, everything linked to that account became a ticking time bomb. So when the bank froze it, the hotel payment bounced like a rubber check, and at exactly 3 in the afternoon Nathan and his upgrade arrived at the front desk dressed for a vacation they could not afford. I would have paid actual money to see his face when the receptionist gave that polite corporate apology. "I am sorry sir, the card did not go through and the reservation has been released." Melissa must have been absolutely glowing with rage, because about half an hour later my phone rang from an unknown number. I laughed before answering, already knowing who it was. "Hello," I said with sunshine in my voice. A second passed, then not Nathan but Melissa, sharp frustration dripping from every word. "Chrissy, hey, I know this is awkward but..." "Melissa, how is that upgrade treating you?" I interrupted, sweet as iced tea. Silence stretched thin like glass. A short breath. A wobble in her voice. "I just wanted to see if we can do something to fix this." "Nathan said you froze his account." I let out a soft amused hum. "Nathan said that, did he?" Did he also explain how he stole money? Or how he dumped me on my birthday like a coward? Her inhale was sharp this time. Look, I did not know any of that, okay, I thought. I cut her off again. You thought he was misunderstood. You thought you were saving him from the evil controlling girlfriend. Let me guess, he told you I held him back, he told you I never supported his dreams. Her silence told the whole story. Melissa was not guilty, she was just naive. Like I once was. Meanwhile, Karma was busy working overtime, because Nathan had broadcast his betrayal to the entire world too early with his silly King of Upgrades post, and the internet delivered judgment swiftly. Comments flooded in. Bro flex too early. Imagine leaving your girl for an upgrade then going broke within a day. Karma speedrun completed. Nah, he got hit with premium next day shipping. Even strangers were dragging him, and I had not lifted a single finger. Then at 4:45 my phone vibrated again, but this time it was not from Melissa or Nathan begging for help. It was from his job. His boss had seen the posts, every one of them, and had questions. Questions Nathan could not afford to answer. The downfall was almost complete, and all I had done was tell the truth. I answered this call just to hear him sweat on the other end, his voice strained, calm only on the surface. Chrissy, you need to stop this, he said, trying to sound in control, but the panic was right there, cracking through every syllable. Stop what, Nathan? I replied, pure innocence dripping from my voice. He exhaled sharply. My boss called me today. Oh, did he? I answered, acting surprised, though this was exactly what I wanted. Nathan let out a bitter, humorless laugh because apparently everyone at work saw my Instagram post, and now HR is involved. Ah yes, the company policy. Strict. Zero tolerance. No relationships with subordinates. And Melissa was not just a shiny new toy. She was junior staff under Nathan's supervision. Corporate had questions. Serious questions. Questions about ethics. Power imbalance. Company reputation. And Nathan did that all by himself. He thought he was calling to intimidate me, to make me crumble and beg for peace, but he still did not understand he had already lost long before I made a single move, so I decided to make it crystal clear. Nathan, listen closely, I said, my voice steady cold. I did not ruin your life, you ruined your own. You stole money from me, you betrayed me, you bragged about it publicly, and now you are choking on your own ego. His breath hitched. I swear to God, Chrissy. No, Nathan, do not bring God into this, I continued. Bring your common sense instead, and swear to yourself that next time, you will not underestimate the woman who built the life you took for granted. Now I have plans. Enjoy your better life if you can still afford it. I hung up. His calls continued. I did not answer even once. Nathan was spiraling now. No money. No hotel. No car. No apartment. No security at the job he once believed made him important. But Nathan was never the type to accept consequences. He was the type to light everything on fire and call it power. So his next move was the most reckless of all. At 9 the next morning I woke to a knock at the door, not a text, not a call, a physical confrontation, exactly what desperate men think will save them. Through the peephole, I saw a uniform, an officer standing firm, so I opened the door, calm, poised, ready. Chrissy Walker, the officer asked. Yes, that is me, I answered. Is there some kind of issue? We received a report about stolen property. Your ex-partner Nathan Carter stated you unlawfully kept items belonging to him. I considered ignoring the call, but curiosity won. Hello, I answered, my voice light, casual, as if nothing was wrong. Chrissy, I need to know the truth, Melissa said, tight, frustrated. How much of this did you plan? I repeated, feigning confusion. What exactly are you accusing me of? Melissa, oh, do not play dumb. Nathan is broke, his job is gone, his accounts frozen, and now he is crashing at my place like some homeless ex-frat boy. This is not just bad luck, you did something. I smiled, swirling my coffee slowly. Melissa, let me ask you something. Did Nathan ever tell you why he and I shared that bank account? Silence. Did he ever mention whose name was on the apartment lease, or how he had been living off my credit cards for months? More silence. Then softly, almost bitterly, no, he said you owed him that money, that you were controlling, that you would never let him have any independence. I let out a short sharp laugh. So he convinced you that stealing from me was just him taking back control? Classic. Melissa exhaled sharply. God, I was such an idiot. I did not argue because yes, she kind of was. The final nail in Nathan's coffin came 3 days later. His company fired him not just because of the workplace relationship scandal, though that was bad enough, but because HR had reviewed his expense reports and discovered the full scale of his arrogance. Nathan had been reimbursing himself for fake business dinners and expensing hotel stays, none of which were legitimate, none of which I had discovered, yet his personal hubris had become professional suicide. Now Nathan was left with nothing. The very last time he ever contacted me was 1 week later. His name flashed on my screen, and instead of rejecting it, I answered. I wanted to hear it. Chrissy, he started, his voice hollow. You, why? I said nothing, letting the words hang between us. Nathan sighed. I do not get it. You did not even try to get back at me. You did not scream. You did not fight. You just let everything collapse around me. I inhaled slowly, then finally spoke. Nathan, you did all of this to yourself. I did not have to fight. I just had to watch you destroy yourself. Silence. Then quietly, I messed up, huh? I smiled. Yeah, you did. Then I hung up, blocked his number, and never looked back. Nathan was gone, blocked, erased, a ghost in my past, and yet the ripples of his destruction spread farther than he could imagine. Not that I cared, I had already moved on. Nathan, on the other hand, was learning the hard way that when you build a life on lies and arrogance, there is nothing left when it collapses. It did not take long for word to spread about his downfall. His old friends turned on him faster than he could say upgrade. His co-workers had already seen the warning signs before he was fired, and his family. Well, that was where things got really interesting. One afternoon my phone buzzed from an unknown number. It was Nathan's mother, Linda. I hesitated for a moment, then curiosity won again. Linda, Chrissy. I know you do not owe me anything, but can we talk? I stared at the message for a moment, then typed back, me depends. Are you about to blame me for your son's life falling apart? Her reply came instantly. Linda, Chrissy, I need to know the truth. He will not tell me anything, and all I hear are fragments of the story from other people. That was interesting, because if his own mother was no longer defending him, it meant Nathan's charm had finally run out. I agreed to meet her for coffee, not because I cared about Nathan, but because I wanted to see the full extent of the damage he had done to himself. When I walked into the cafe, Linda looked exhausted, worn, like she had aged 5 years in a matter of weeks. Thank you for meeting me, she said, stirring her tea absent-mindedly. I need to understand how this happened. I shrugged. Your son overplayed his hand. He thought he was untouchable. He thought he was smarter than me. Linda sighed. He told us you were controlling, that you tried to ruin him. I laughed, shaking my head. Tell me, Linda, what does controlling mean to Nathan? Because as far as I can tell, it only means not letting him get away with everything he wants. She did not argue. In fact, she looked guilty. We spoiled him, she admitted. We always bailed him out when he screwed up his dad, and I thought we were helping, but I see now we just enabled him to believe he would never face real consequences. I took a slow sip of my coffee, letting her words sink in. Then she asked the real question. Chrissy, is there any way back for him? I thought about it, then said the only thing I knew to be true, not until he realizes that he is the problem. By the look on her face, I knew she already understood the answer. Over the next few months I heard bits and pieces. Nathan moved back in with his parents, this time under strict conditions: no free money, no reckless spending, and definitely no more girlfriends using him as a stepping stone. Ironically, Melissa had dumped him a week after our last conversation. Apparently being the upgrade was no longer fun when the money ran out. While Nathan rebuilt his life from scratch, I thrived. I got a promotion, I traveled, I started a business on the side, and for the first time in years I felt completely free. No more waiting for someone to grow up. No more walking on eggshells. No more playing a game where the only way to win was to leave the table entirely. One day, nearly a year later, I got a message request on social media, and almost ignored it, but then I saw the name Nathan. Curiosity won. I clicked. Nathan, hey, I know it has been a long time. I just wanted to say I am sorry, I screwed up, I should have treated you better. I do not expect anything, but I wanted you to know. I stared at the message for a long moment, then deleted it unanswered because some apologies come far too late. Nathan was nothing but a distant memory now, a lesson, a cautionary tale, a reminder of everything I would never tolerate again. While he was still crawling out of the hole he dug for himself, my life kept getting better, and the best part, one did not just survive his betrayal, I thrived because of it. A year had passed since that awful birthday, since the laughable text where Nathan declared he was upgrading his life at my expense. And yet, looking at where we both ended up, it was clear who had really won. This was my reality now. My career had skyrocketed, the side business I started had taken off. Turns out, when you remove a financial leech from your life, your bank account thrives. I found love again, a real, mature, respectful relationship, someone who did not need to tear me down just to feel like a man. I traveled the world while Nathan sat in his parents' basement. I explored cities, tasted new foods, and finally lived for myself. I did not need revenge, my success spoke for itself. But life has a funny way of tying up loose ends. It happened at a mutual friend's wedding. I almost did not go, but something told me this would be worth it, and I was right. The moment I walked in, I saw him, Nathan, slumped at a table in the corner, nursing a cheap beer, looking nothing like the man who once thought he was too good for me. His carefully styled hair now messy, his expensive suits replaced by an ill-fitting dress shirt, his signature confidence gone. I almost felt pity until our eyes met, and I saw it, regret, the kind that settles deep in your bones when you realize you traded gold for tin foil. I gave a small, polite smile, then turned back to my date, the handsome, successful man sitting beside me, the one who actually respected me, and I let Nathan watch me move on. Later that night, he finally gathered the nerve to approach. I saw him coming but pretended not to notice until he cleared his throat. "Chrissy, hey," I said, turning, giving him a polite, disinterested glance. Nathan shifted awkwardly. "You look good." I smirked. "I know." His lips pressed into a thin line. "I guess you heard about everything, my job, Melissa, all of it." I nodded. "Yep." He let out a short, bitter laugh. "Guess you are pretty happy about how things turned out, huh?" I tilted my head considering my answer, then said, "No, Nathan, I do not think about you enough to be happy or unhappy about it," and that was the truth. His face fell. I am sorry, Chrissy, for everything. I wish I could take it back." I sighed, swirling the champagne in my glass. "You do not get it, do you?" He frowned. "Get what?" I smiled. "I do not need your apology. I never did, because the second you walked away, you set me free. And now," I gestured to the life I had built, the life I had fought for. "I have everything I ever wanted. And you," I let my gaze flicker over his worn-down appearance, "well, you have exactly what you deserve." His jaw clenched, but he had nothing left to say, because deep down he knew I was right. As I walked away, I felt lighter than I ever had before. Nathan had been a part of my life once, but that was all he would ever be, a past mistake, a lesson learned. And the most ironic part, he once thought leaving me would be his greatest success, but in reality it had been mine. Because I had won the only battle that truly mattered, the battle to live well, love better, and never settle for less again.